Hello, this is Discuss TNA Impact Wrestling. I'm JaySin, back again with the Horror King. Once again, we are recording on a day with some cool TNA news. It just broke or recently. Before that, we're going to have some quick thoughts about the episode we are reviewing, which is March 14th, 2024. But before that, I saw Impact podcast legend BQ call it the show of the year. And I find that incredibly interesting, considering the last I saw, he was part of many complaining and crying about Scott getting fired. Now it's been, what, I believe Gary said, what's it been, Gary? 2, 3, 4 episodes tops since, like,
Yeah,
Scott's
somewhere in that
totally,
time.
since Scott's totally been out of it. So let's just say March, all of March, maybe an episode in February. That's like what, 3, 4 episodes, and Scott had 2 months. So boom, Anthem wins. Suck it, Scott haters, especially you weirdos who tried to hijack a show when you still have no idea why the guy was fired. It's insane. Um, Speaking of trolls, Garrett Kidney, who still works for Anthem with TNA, the owners of Anthem, TNA, both, or last I heard he still did, tweeted today something which caused some frictions with fans on TNA Asylum, myself, Gary, I'm sure many others, and we'll get to that right after the big news. And for anyone new, like, subscribe, all that. This is what we do. We talk about the news, latest episode of Impact. I probably talk some shit about someone or people. Gary will do his nice guy routine while in the background setting up Saw-like traps for his real-life victims because he's a effing lunatic. And maybe we'll take a mailbag question or two from the crazy house at Asylum. But we're going to start off with news. Really cool news. TNA World Title matches set for 2024 Starcast Down Under Convention. Did you see this, Gary? Moose is challenging, Josh Alexander. Shocker. Is getting a shot against Moose. But I mean, I don't think there's any chance in hell Moose is going to lose that one there. Now this is April 13th.
Oh,
What the hell
wow.
day is? What day is Rebellion? Do you know off the top of your head?
I think it's April. Let's see, where is it here?
1 second, people. A little unprepared. Okay.
April 20th.
April
The
20th.
next night. The next night there's a set of tapings.
Okay,
On Sunday.
so this is a week before Rebellion. Okay, so there's no chance in hell. These titles are changing hands, but it could be a cool thing. And this is so April 13th, and will be, how's this, ready? At Selkirk Stadium, and will be curated by Bret the Hitman Hart.
Oh.
What exactly does curated mean? I'm not sure. On the other,
That's still a good get, though. You get the hit.
yeah, I mean, that's awesome. I mean, any kind of just his name being there. Okay, on the women's side of things, the Her event will be hosted by Mickie James and will also see TNA Gold on the line. TNA champion Jordan Grace will defend against Delta, the most dominant force in the Australian wrestling scene, according to SES Scoops.
And then they managed to get Mickey to come to the shows as well. So,
yeah. Well, I think that's Mickey's. Well, I don't know. I don't know what HER is. I don't know if that's a thing that Mickey runs. Whatever. I don't want to get too confused. Yeah. But also, okay, tickets are now on sale for Under Siege, which has a poster of the system that I love. But also, is that a spoiler? I mean, could they have the system lose their titles and then have that show?
And not only that, Jay, I also think there's a little bit of a thing going on about something other event being on that night. So I don't know if they've got that fixed or, polished.
Yeah, maybe that whole thing is just a tease. That'd be funny. I mean, that'd be a ballsy thing to do. But no, there's actually tickets and all. So, yeah, that's not going to be a real thing. Okay, back to the Garrett Kidney thing. Okay, this should be fun. This is his tweet from today. Garrett Kidney, who, I don't know, digital producer or something. He was the Twitter guy for a while. There has been a distressing rise in trying to use TNA to either knock or praise AEW in whatever the latest culture talking point is. And I respectfully ask, stop learning TNA history from wrestling Twitter discourse. There's more, but first of all, that's just funny. I mean, like, telling people to stop learning any kind of history from anything Twitter, which is like, for people just learn things these days. Okay, yeah. It's not surprising given there's now nearly a decade distance since TNA was on Spike, but it's remarkable how little people understand what TNA actually was and wasn't, and what its actual shortcomings were. Now, let me just read Will's response from Asylum. He's been around for a long time fan. We used to be pretty cool. Hey Garrett, if TNA was a failure because they lost more than 8 figures a year, then I'm sorry to tell you that AEW doesn't magically get to be called a success, despite the fact that they lose 8 figures a year. For example, if TNA spent in 2008 $80 million and only took in $30 million revenue, TNA is a failing company. If AEW spent $200 million and only took in $150 million, they are a failing company. I mean, then he says, if you hold both feds to the same standard, if not, you're a biased hack. And that got 7 likes. And then one person stuck up for him. Nobody liked that. Crashmaster, you ain't helping, Garrett. As an employee of TNA, you've had some questionable posts on your own. Sloan, I would like TNA's social media person to not talk about TNA's shortcomings at all. Again, he's not a fan. He's an employee. Employees should not be publicly negative. Again, Sloan, he has been at many times in the past, and an employee should not mention mistakes or shortcomings. And listen, I totally agree. Can you imagine anyone at, what's his name, doing something like that? Like, can you imagine a Tony guy saying something like that? Tony, who talks about how everything is the greatest thing ever. Every show is the greatest thing ever.
If Garrett is indeed saying this, it seems like to me the timing is very suspect. I mean, we just lost Scott D'Amore, so I'm wondering if he was a bit of a Scott D'Amore mark, maybe.
No, he was 1,000%. Like they were like they're connected at the hip. I mean, I've said I wouldn't promote TNA again unless they got rid of Kidney, who's the one who literally fucked with my family and shit. Which whatever I've gotten into too many times, and I told everyone Scott would be gone. We did a video about it a long time ago. Guess what? He's gone. I told everyone Kidney would follow him out. And I don't even know if he's still there, but he's shit talk. He's defending fucking AEW. He loves it. He's a fucking AEW Mark. This is what I've been saying all the time. But he hasn't been able to be open about it. He can't be open about it. That's why he has 700 fucking Twitter accounts. And that's why he hates me, because I called him out for all this a long time ago. And I nailed it. I wasn't even sure about all the fake accounts, like which one were him and all, but I know that he does. He lives on Twitter. He's one of those people who lives on Twitter. He can't have one account, you know what I mean? Like, he has to push his fucking bullshit narrative. But whatever. Okay, back to what we were talking about there. So, nice response at Asylum. Thank you guys for
some nice input.
Giving us some stuff to read there. And, okay, thought we had some more. Okay. Gary has the matches that were just announced for the next upcoming tapings, which are what? Vegas? Next week? This week?
Oh, this no, these are in Philly.
Okay, this is this Friday in Philly, right?
Yeah, March 22nd to 23rd. I guess the main event going into those is Josh Alexander faces Hot Sauce Tracy Williams. I'm not sure if anybody out there is really too familiar with him, but he's a very solid hand. Should be a really good matchup. And then that's for the Friday, the 22nd. The next match is at Motor City Machine Guns versus Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers on the 23rd, being the Saturday. I guess tickets are still available for those for that taping. And then there's a couple more matches on the 23rd. Ash by Elegance will be fighting Zia Brookside, and our good friend PCO will be taking on the Badder Than Bad Khan on the 23rd.
Oh yeah, sorry. And what is that match? Can you read it?
Yeah, I could barely read. We were commenting where's the barbed wire. Yeah, it's a Monsters Ball match, and you totally can't see it too good unless you really pan on it.
Good God, that is one of the worst graphics I've ever seen in my life for a match like that. Like, I don't even know. I probably saw it 10 times before I noticed. I was talking to Robles, our boy.
Where the flames or some shit to kind of like give it that Monsters Ball vibe,
Yeah, and yeah, seriously, throw anything in there. Geez, I mean, you have to like zoom in and whatever. Speaking of my boy Robles, we found out that, or not, didn't find out. Allie announced she's going to be at WrestleCon, which I don't know. I just find it interesting. She's doing like a few more wrestling things. She went a Squared Circle Expo, and Again, I just really want Demon Bunny back. That shit was money. I don't even know if people realize they had like shows and events they did together. That's how big they were. But whatever. WrestleCon, that's coming up. That's cool. And okay, now back to the show. So we talked about what BQ thought. What did you think? Do you think it was the show of the year?
Kind of debatable. I mean, it's kind of subjective, like for me, because like I kind of have to go back to the beginning of the year, and it's been so very little, to really base it off from. I guess it was.
Hasn't been. Is it fair to say it hasn't been a super memorable start to the year?
That's yeah, I think that's what I'm trying to go for here with
Yeah.
what you're saying. It's not like nothing that's gonna knock it out of the park. But there's still some reasons to tune in. You kind of want to see on the road to rebellion, and the Nemeth and Smacklin rivalry and whatnot. You kind of have a lot of everything going on, but it hasn't been a very like I don't think it's been like ideal maybe for Anthem so far under the TNA moniker.
Yeah. I mean, I
You
just
know,
quick. I did say they have a lot of shit to clean up after Scott. You know what I mean? Like the divisions. I mean, the booking,
that's a
like
lot of it too, right there.
the booking. So of course it was going to take a few weeks. And now look, I mean, I'm not saying it's the best episode of the year, but I will say it's up there. It's one of them. I honestly can't remember. I don't remember episodes in January. I'd have to check our own fucking ratings or whatever. But I don't remember like a great episode this year. I would say this was a very good one, and
Oh
it
yeah,
looked.
definitely.
It just I don't
But
know. It
I did.
feels a little different. Like there's less bullshit, and there's like it started off with Ali versus Saban. You know what I mean? Like a TNA match, fucking an awesome TNA match. Just sorry TNA, an awesome X Division match to start the show.
Well, I definitely think it was definitely the more fast paced show of the year. Like I was mentioning to you before we went live, like it's been a while since I've had that feeling coming out of an Impact episode or TNA episode, where I actually couldn't believe there's only 20 minutes left, and I was like, "Whoa, this." But it's been a while since I've had that feeling.
I think it feels more focused. I usually don't use smart words like that, but like so Ali and Saban, that's been going on for a while, right? Um, and I love it. I'm not saying it's too long. I mean, and I'm not saying like whatever. Yeah, should have said a while. It's been going on for a perfect amount of time. Chris Saban loses and acts like a baby, and he's totally pissed off. Maybe he turns heel. I mean, and it looks the same with what's his name, with his partner who lost. And it looks like he's turning heel. So like that's like I don't know. That's an interesting thing they have going on. And
Yeah, I thought that was really cool with Alex Shelley backstage this week, and he's like, I think somebody came out of nowhere and like he goes, look, I can't deal with this right now. You're gonna be wrestling the best tag team in TNA, and he goes, the Time Splitters, and then I
yeah,
think Anafan said something like, "Whoa, that's an interesting comment." Like he thinks that
yeah,
the Time Splitters are that much better than Motor City Machine Guns, like
yeah.
you could tell something brewing.
Yeah, this definitely, yeah. See, I think we talked about last year how they might do it when they both had the titles, but yeah, they don't need them. Like, you can do like tag team friggin' things with these guys, especially with Kushida. You know what I mean? Like you just said,
Oh yeah,
maybe Saban's like, fuck you, bro. I'll find somebody. You know what I mean? Then he tags with someone, or it's just them two. I don't know. I'm cool with any of that. I mean, it's Saban and Shelley. Like they have history. It's cool. It makes sense, and it's simple. And
yeah.
um, so it's Ali, and also, I mean, just I feel like they're focusing on less people finally. Like they don't have a huge roster, and like it's nice to see. I always say it's nice to see the same people every week. Like at least like this, a group. Like they have like a core now. I feel like Saban is definitely in the core. Moose is definitely in the core. Josh, obviously, Jordan. Like you're gonna see them every fucking week, and I like that. I don't love Josh. I've said it many times. I thought
No,
it was a little silly giving him a microphone, but I mean the fans fucking love this dude. Like he's still over, at least in Canada. Like we'll see how it is with other places. I don't think he'll. You know,
very interesting coming out of the match with Saban losing a second time to Ali. I noticed someone had been saying, well, Saban hasn't really lost a match in a while, so kudos to Chris Saban for letting himself get beat twice by Ali. So he's not an
Oh
maniac
yeah,
or
definitely not.
whatever you like to think Chris Sabin is. It's just the way he's been booked. He's
Yeah,
virtually unbeatable.
yeah, and I say it every time there's a goddamn Saban match. Like he's incredible. Maybe the most underrated person in wrestling. Like you just said, like I didn't even realize that he's won so much. He's just so goddamn good at everything, including being a character. Which maybe he was the heel Saban, like
Yeah,
just like the dick with he was with the Jesus, not
oh,
Madison, Velvet,
yeah,
right? He was with Velvet.
yeah. He was like, I don't know. I remember something they did not too long ago with her, like standing behind me. I think it was something to do with he was losing at something. I don't know if it was. It couldn't have been the the guy that's no longer there. I can't think of his name right now. Swinger. It
Yeah.
was there, but something
Holy
he was.
shit! There's been no swinger.
Yeah, and
Wow.
like I don't know. I remember a time when he was kind of using Velvet as kind of like this dumb blonde kind of girlfriend. He was like treating her like that kind
Yeah,
of
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
I don't know if you remember.
I think Bully stole her. I forget exactly, but whatever. My point is, he's a good character and he can do some of that shit again if he wants.
Oh yeah,
So, I mean, the Hammerstone stuff is cool, but Josh, I like that. I mean, the Gia Miller was back. So I just don't want to skip anything. Nick Nemeth, Bailey, Trent Seven against who's that? Wait, yeah. So against Moose and
well,
the
I mean,
system. Against
even
Moose in the system. Like those are like six guys. I mean, again, I don't love Seven. I don't think you love Seven, but like we're seeing more of him. Like we're getting to learn more
yeah,
about him and
definitely.
Speedball. Like they're a good damn team, and
Yeah, they've gotten better. Like their continuity is right on point. Like it seems like they've gotten better. Like every taping in terms of like believability if they could actually have a tag team championship run. So
just like the other guys who I didn't really love and still don't love because of the stupid names I always the veterans.
or grizzled young vets or
Yeah, but I mean, geez, they got like a solid friggin'. They're actually got a solid tag division. I mean, four teams that are really good at least. I
well,
mean,
and the thing is they can talk too, which
yeah,
is which I'm surprised because by the looks of them, you wouldn't think they'd be good on the mic, and I'm not trying to be looks oriented here, but like I think it makes a lot of difference too. They came out of NXT, and a lot of the NXT talent were always like mic ready,
yeah.
to be called up to like the main roster in WWE.
Um, Yeah, speaking of Mike Reddy, I mean, Josh was fine. I think the crowd helped a ton being in Canada. And he talked
Oh
about
yeah,
Hammerstone, who I love Hammerstone now. I really quickly love this dude. So, he made Hammerstone look like even more of a heel, which I thought was great. He closed out Hammerstone. Out comes Dirty Dango Johnny Bravo and Oleg Prudius come out. Bravo actually got some mic time, so he's still around, which made me throw up my mouth for really fast. But then, I mean, as I thought about it, he was only on TV for about 20 seconds, maybe. So, like, all this shit, these guys used to get like 10 minutes maybe on the show. And here they just came out and, what's his name? Santino called a thing really fast because Prudius and Josh got into a brawl. And then Josh made Prudius tap quickly. So the goofs are all out of there. Like, they
yeah.
didn't
That's
really,
what I was just
like, the
gonna
goofs
say.
didn't get much time.
You probably were a big proponent of Oleg getting tapping out like within like less than
Oh, yeah.
5.
I mean, I was like, Josh gets a fucking promo within a match, like, seriously, because, again, I don't know.
Yeah.
Come on, fuck that. Okay, I hated this. Crazy Steve's promo. I don't know. I mean, Robles mentioned it, like, as we were doing the thing, like, where is he doing it from? Like, it came, I don't know, I thought it came off really dark and just bad.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe it's because we don't really get to see Steve do a lot of cryptic videos or like
It wasn't, he was like, he was talking in front of the crowd, wasn't he? Like, but he was like in the
oh, okay,
corner.
I must have missed this or
Yeah.
something. Like maybe
He was like talking in front of the crowd, but he was like in the corner of the. I don't know. You gotta watch it. It was weird, but whatever. I do
I
like
mean,
that.
I know sometimes when you watch them on different services, sometimes
Yeah.
like picture in a picture isn't always available.
Oh yeah, I did have some issues with my as I was watching it this week also, so I might have been kind of. But he says a lot of people are recognizing, people that he whatever. Dreamer, I'm just reading off this thing here. Rhino Hendry, he mentioned the people he defeated. So he's like a decent, legit champ. And then PCO comes out. So you're dead, motherfucker. And but before that, PCO has to deal with, like Gary mentioned, he's still dealing with Khan. So I'm just gonna say, without even knowing those spoilers, because I didn't see that match. I don't think there's no spoilers yet for that match. It's gonna be Crazy Steve versus Khan versus PCO in, I don't know, something like maybe something bigger than a Monsters Ball, or the Monsters Ball doesn't happen. Because that's just weird. I don't know. Maybe, whatever. Maybe they made a mistake, and that's why the thing is so goddamn small. Because the Monsters Ball is supposed to be at the next one,
Well, it
Rebellion,
makes me wonder if they might take a Ravens Funhouse thing and like turn it into a Steve's Funhouse.
Oh yeah, I thought he would just steal Monsters Ball, but I'd be cool with that.
Yeah.
And again, how's this for a cool match? Kazarian versus Ace. Like, that's just a match, like, I was like, oh shit. Like, that's a cool match. Like, even no matter how much, I don't know, if I happen to hate Impact at the moment, I would watch a match like this because it's interesting. I don't think I've ever seen it before. Kaz is an amazing asshole right now.
Oh yeah, well, and like with Ace being a high flyer, and defying gravity, like it's an interesting challenge for him because Kaz is kind of not. He's high flying, but he's not a high flyer like he was when he was with the X Division of yesteryear. And like now it kind of imposes a bit of a challenge for Ace because now he's dealing with Kazarian as a more experienced talent.
Yeah. I love it, and you can use the whole, he's got the.
And not to mention, he likes to cheat a lot more too.
Yeah, so, and I mean, yeah, they just lost their titles, Ace and Bay, so it makes sense. He should lose for a little bit.
Oh, yeah,
there's just a lot of little things that make sense now that didn't for a while. And again, I talk shit about Scott, but for a year, what was it, 2 fucking years we did this, where almost every show was like boringly, this was good, this was good, this was good, this was good, this was great, this was great. And I don't know, man, something happened, but now I'm really looking at this show and like thinking about the things that happened, and I really feel like they're focusing on like the right people. They cut down on like stupid ass people that shouldn't be popping in all the time weekly, like fucking what's his name? Who you mentioned is not even on the show. I haven't seen it mentioned by any fan. Not one person has said I miss him, even though he had so many fucking fans. Supposedly Swinger.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Haven't seen one person say they miss him. So Kazarian gets the win.
The thing is, he's been gone for so long. I mean, he totally lately. They did a really good job of phasing him out of the show. Like I forgot he wasn't even part of the brand right now.
Yeah, pretty sure he said he had a job for life because of Scott. And I just got like, I hate hearing shit like that. Like, you should nobody have a fucking job for life because you're a friend. Unless you're friends with me and it's a really good job. Whatever. I'm a sellout. Call me whatever you want. So so Kaz beats Austin. Cool. After the match, Eric Young comes back. So they still got Eric Young, Kazarian going. Which again I like, because they did this with Eddie. You know what I mean? Like Kaz. I like how Kaz gets into like long beefs.
Well, I was really surprised that Kaz was able to get Ace to tap. When's the last time you've seen Ace Austin tap?
Yeah, I thought that might have been a bit much and maybe not even necessary. Yeah. But I mean, especially for Kazarian, like, I don't know, what is Kazarian really doing right now? I mean, he could have just had a roll up or something, but he just, he had him tapped. That was kind of weird.
Yeah, I just don't see that very often because, like, Ace just doesn't look like a kind of guy that would tap. You know what I mean? Like, he might beat him by a roll up or, chicanery with, like, being hit with something. You don't see him tap.
I think I had a note for this somewhere, but then I lost it. So there was a really cool, not really cool. It was a simple, what do you call them? Like, it was on the screen for the X Division match to start the show. It was just like. No, it was like right before the match started. It was like a Ring of Honor used to do it all the time. It's just a graphic, like and there was like a word. There was a word for it, like, not fucking ups and downs, but like, like the Impact feature, whatever the fuck it was. And it was like, Ali did this. Sabin is a, this time champion. And it was just like little, like, you know what I mean, like little things about the match.
Oh, like a tell of the tape or
yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
They had their own name for it. I mean, it's just a simple little thing. Like if you're not watching, if you're a new fucking person watching, like, you know, of course that helps. And it's
Oh,
simple. It's just a fucking graphic.
well, and the thing is, like, since TNA has become TNA, like, their graphics, I feel, have become, like, more eye-catching than they
Oh yeah.
were, you know, like, say, last year.
I mean, like we said it for years. Bring back. I mean, we literally had a podcast that was said add more TNA, needs more TNA, or whatever, and TNA came back. Not saying we did that, but like TNA was just cool. And I love. Where is everyone who fucking hated the name TNA?
Yeah, and I mean,
Because it was like 60-40, like, oh, they can never go back to that because of these days.
well, they've
Like,
stepped up the marketing outside the ring too, with like all the guardrails having, more or less publicizing their different properties they own, which they did listen there, so it does work.
I am interested if they do the well, I'm super interested if actually they go the live route like they said and actually do shows like that, because the crowds still, like, no matter where they go, they kind of suck. You know what I mean? Like, they don't have huge crowds.
No,
But
I mean,
like, even
that's not
AEW,
fair,
but even AEW doesn't either. Just before we bash the Impact crowds.
yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, I think today's fan is very hard to please too. Like, I feel like I shouldn't say cell phones are to blame, but I feel like people rather sometimes at these events be on their cell phone
Oh
than
yeah,
than actually watch the hard work that these athletes put on
that's why
weekly.
I
And
liked. That's why I know I never liked NXT, but I loved Full Sail. I don't know if they paid those motherfuckers or they gave them drugs or whatever, but it was fun. Those people were just psychotic, and it adds to the show. I don't care if you have to pay people. You know what I mean? If it adds to the show and people are fucking
no,
chanting
yeah,
like lunatics.
yeah. I just always was confused when it was FSU. I was like, whoa, are they
Yeah,
doing this? Florida State University? And it's like, oh, it's Full Sail
yeah.
University. Well, that makes a big difference too.
Well, you're a college guy, and maybe, well, whatever. I was gonna say maybe they're going to FSU.
I didn't.
Forget it. I just cut my own bad joke off. Okay, so again, cool graphic for the system listing out their accomplishments as each member said it, and then, trust the system. I fucking love the system, man. It's such a simple name, cool shirt, very simple shirt that I would totally wear, and I'm gonna get eventually.
Yeah, it's gotten to become kind of feeling a little bit like a main event mafia, which I like because it's been a while since we saw anything that resembles that. So
Yeah, okay. Then the part with Shelley about how, like you said, the veterans
oh
came in and they said, they're not the top team in TNA anymore. And Shelley said, I don't need this. If you guys want to prove you're the best, you could take on the fucking Time Splitters, bitch. So that was pretty badass. Like, he's like like these guys are like backstage, like talking nice to him. He's like, yeah, you guys. I don't know.
yeah, I've noticed a little. I noticed like that kind of like comedy stuff has been like really fun, like spot on, like funny comedy
It's
too.
not, yeah,
Like,
yeah. No
like,
terrible comedy anymore.
like I noticed Matthew Raywall and Tom Hannafan have kind of been the heel and face on commentary a little bit more too, and it's kind of good to see the more dickish side of Raywall come out. So I've been
Yeah.
enjoying that as well.
I do wish he had a goddamn voice alterator or something, because he can't emote here. He's like a goddamn Saturday Night Live character to me. Like, he just can't change his voice or whatever. Like,
Yeah,
from
well, I mean,
screaming to like being excited to like whatever. It's just all the same fucking voice.
I can't exactly say I have the world's greatest voice either, but like at least
Yeah,
show
well,
some or like
I mean,
laugh
yeah,
or something.
yeah. Like, even when he laughed, it's like the same kind of whatever. So Joe Hendry, AJ Francis, and again, AJ Francis, man, I don't know what it is about this dude. I like big dudes, first of all, and, well, that sounded weird, in terms of wrestling, because they're not really like a thing these days. And Rich fucking Swann, I called this shit. I've been on this since day one. Nobody else was. I said Rich Swann walked away with Francis like a fucking month and a half ago, and like, no one knew what happened. And I was like, what? Something fucking obviously happened. Then he just walk away and nothing fucking happened. They had a conversation, and then it seemed like Swan wasn't with him, but I don't think we really saw any interaction. Maybe one there was, or twice, but so
Well,
Swan came out, hit him with a chair, hit Hendry with a chair, and joined Francis, right?
yeah, he totally did. But like I've noticed like a huge thing about AJ Francis. Like we had a Brodus Clay or Tyrus, very reminiscent of AJ. But I noticed one major difference. Like the dude is has a bit of agility too, because like when he spills out to the ring, he like actually lands
Yeah.
on a kind of like a cane kind of thing. So like I don't know, these two really rub off on each other. Really, that sounds probably a little bit
Yeah.
a little
That's right.
dirty, but
Yeah, I just made the same mistake.
they work well with each other. I've been on board with this rivalry since the get go.
Yeah, I think we both were, and I'm not sure why. We just, I don't know. Like, we didn't know AJ Francis. Like, we didn't know anything about him. Like neither one of
Yeah.
us. Like, we just kind of very quickly jumped on the AJ Francis train. So, um, okay. So after that, we got a quick sound check, which I like that they're still doing. Ash by Elegance walks in, and Noah's kind of like
Yeah, I
shitting on the
like
place.
I like this hair because it just personifies the Ash by Elegance persona.
Yeah. And I
Thinking
love the
she's
fucking week, and I love like that. It's like a almost weekly thing. You know what I mean? Like it's back there. The sound check.
she's like miles above this place, and then
Yeah.
like Angels is like too like his character's too stupid to realize she's kind of putting him down.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I like all of it. Like, yeah, him being an idiot. Yeah, I love all of it. Just fun character, really fun. I mean, surprising. Like, I didn't know much. Again, I didn't know much about that dude at all. Like at all. I didn't know anything about him other than he wrestled Kenny Omega once in a really good match on
Yeah.
AEW because, like, I don't know, he was Omega's boy or something. He wanted to like put him over. Okay, this I kind of loved and hated at the same time. The women's tag match
Between
because it's just
Spitfire
it's
versus
just yeah, it was just so weird. I mean, Jody threatened Danny Luna, the new champs, versus two people nobody knows, Bia Moss and Vanna Black. Before it begins, the two actual top teams come out, MK Ultra and Decay. So obviously there's a three-way coming at Rebellion, right?
Yeah, I totally like this though. Like it kind of like you got all the women that are hungry for the title, like at the top of the ramp, and I don't know, it just kind of felt like big league here for me. Although I didn't really like, basically this squash match for Spitfire.
Yeah, I mean, so what else can they do? There's nobody. Like,
Yeah,
again, I don't know. I keep saying I hate this division because it kills. And again, because look at what's next. Like, I don't know. Well, whatever. Look at the knockouts right now. Like, four of these girls could probably be world champion. Well, like MK Ultra and Decay, if they were pushed correctly and things were just moved around a little. And then Tasha could be world champion, but she faces Jordan next week. She came out on commentary, said she was never pinned, which was true. So she'll go one-on-one with Jordan, which was announced. And I mean, I'm not going to spoil anything, but I don't think Jordan's going to lose the title before Rebellion. I don't think anybody else does. So who the hell is left for Jordan? I have no idea. I think it has to be Camille. Like, there's nobody on. Do you think there's anyone on the roster who could face
yeah.
Jordan? Is there
Well,
anyone
I
on the
mean,
roster?
she did throw out. I mean, I know that could be any abbreviation, but she said it does have 3 letters in the name of where I'm going. So I mean, it's pretty vague, but
Yeah, I mean, I've been keeping.
showed up on AEW, right?
I've been paying close attention. I think she's like I think she's way too smart to go to AEW. She was the NWA
Yeah,
Women's Champion for like whatever, and I know that's not like a huge deal, but it's a much bigger deal
yeah,
than being the 17th person in AEW. You know what I mean?
and I mean, really, with what's going on in WWE with The Rock and all that, like no matter if you bring a Camille in, I
Yeah, no, I think
don't.
she ruled that out. Actually, I think she might have
That's
ruled. I could be crazy, but I think she said there's only two. I don't know. I could be wrong.
yeah,
I
that's what I mean. Like
think
it
she might have said
just
there's only
feels
she's
like
only worried about the two of them, two promotions.
yeah,
So
like
WWE
Impact.
not really. Yeah, and I mean, I mean, but who on the guy? Is there anyone on the roster who could face Jordan at Rebellion?
I don't.
Anyone?
I don't see anybody outside
That's
of
what
a
I mean.
Camille.
Like
Anything less would be kind of disappointing, unless there's somebody out there
Tessa.
that goes on the radar.
Well, I'm saying on. Well, I'm just my first question for anyone is there's on the fucking roster. I mean, I can't think of anyone.
I
You
mean,
can't even
unless
you
you
can't
get
even get You can't even. There's not. I don't think there's even time to get like Masha in to break one of those teams up. Which they would have started already.
Unless you get somebody like you're at your pipe dream with Tessa Blanchard or somebody.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. But it has to be somebody not on the roster. Like there's nobody on the fucking. It's definitely not somebody on the roster. So Jordan either takes off, or it's definitely someone new, like her, or possibly. I mean, like me and Robles have always wanted Allie to come back. I don't think she'd pop back into a title match.
Main event.
Jesus, compared to what's happening now, yeah, maybe she could. Like, who else? Again, who else? There's nobody. If they don't get Camille or,
yeah, it would definitely be. Well, I mean,
oh,
she's had all that exposure to being down south. Like, I mean, it would, you know, that kind of thing could move the needle a little bit, at least for the knockout.
Oh, I fucking love Camille. But yeah, I just mean like it would have to be somebody outside of TNA. I felt like I was missing someone, but I mean, maybe Su Yung returns. I mean, I know someone commented that they were injured and coming back, but like I don't know, I feel like I see her name a lot on indie shows. So like I don't know if she is injured or whatever, but I have no idea. And they're running out of weeks. I mean, there's what they're gonna have 2-3 weeks of tapings after this week.
Yeah, we got the Ontario taping this Thursday, and then after that we have Philly for I think the entire month, almost all but.
Okay, so I guess they do have time, but all right, I guess they do have time. I don't know, but Jesus Christ, what the hell happened to the knockouts? I mean, everything else is really good. Like, I don't think there's ever been a time like this where like the knockouts are like have ever been like the problem, and it's not even close.
Not to quote a game show, but let's know a bit of a pun here. The knockouts are the weakest link,
And it's
as of late.
That's never been a thing before. But okay, let's get moving, because I got to get going. So Nemeth and Speedball Mountain versus Macklin and the Rascals. And again, we've been seeing these guys a lot. They're together. It makes sense. Macklin fucking rules. Again, he loses. The guy loses every goddamn match, and still he's like over. And I don't know. I mean, Nemeth. I don't know about the Moose thing. We'll talk about that another time. But
would you think of the thing with Nemeth backstage, kind of doing his own version of the Danger Zone with his own air guitar kind of thing?
That was cool. I mean,
a little bit.
But, I mean, it's Dolph is what he is. Like I don't know. Like I like him. Like I don't really. I can like pick on this. Like he's kind of cornballish, I guess you could say. His comedy, but it depends. Like what he's doing. He could also be a dick heel. It's hard to be a face. Like how many cool faces are there in wrestling? I mean, I'm sure people will say Josh, and I'll say no, he ain't cool. He just loves his family. That's his own goddamn thing. But whatever. Okay, so. Yeah, Nemeth and Speedball Mountain win, but at the end, the system beat the shit out of everyone and hold their titles up, and that's how the show ended with them posing, which I fucking loved. Well, they made the system look awesome at Sacrifice. Now they're doing it post Sacrifice. Like it feels almost like NWO-ish.
Well, here's a little bit of a nod towards Robles too. Alicia's been spot on with her interfering in the matches too, like to the system to win or like give them some kind of an edge during a match. She's been excellent as a heel manager or whatever of that.
Really good timing, yeah. And don't want to push us too much, but we did say for a while, what the hell is she doing there? Why is she just backstage, not really doing much? She's a good talent. She can do things, even if it's not being in the ring, which she can even do that. Maybe she's not a great wrestler, but she's a very good character, and look, she is. So cool.
Yeah, definitely gets inside your head as a heel. I know number of times if she's very convincing. You almost want to slug her.
Yeah. Really fast. Oh, yeah, okay, I got the winners there. Christian Thompson, our friend, gave it a 7.5 out of 10. Thought they put in a really good wrestling show this week for matches that were good to very good quality, and the kickstart of a couple new feuds. Yep, totally agree. All in all, a good week's work for TNA. He-Man Shoe, 7.6. Fun episode. I can't say I agree with someone with the experience of Chris Sabin. Would think it would be a smart idea to hit Mustafa Ali with the championship during a match. Geez, that's kind of really getting into something small. Well, that's a long one from He-Man Shoe, but okay, he gave it a 7.5, and 7.6. He liked it a lot. I'm gonna give it an 8. Okay, probably my first 8 in a long time, so it's at least the best
I'll
episode
probably
of the last month or two that I can remember.
I'll probably be right there with you with a 7.8, 7.9. You know, a little bit better than what I've been saying, but like still not to the like what we're used to seeing back, you know, the TNA days, like near 9s like almost every week.
Oh yeah. That's what I mean. And that was freaking again. That was Scott. Like I have no problem saying that. Like it was like he did awesome shit, and then I don't know. Okay, so
We still need to get them damn gimmick matches on the show though. We don't get those still.
well, I mean they have one, even though they forgot to announce it correctly. So that's cool.
Yeah.
And I think we're definitely gonna get at least 2 at Rebellion, just based on like if no one pops in to fight Jordan, it's gonna be a multiple person match. Maybe another Ultimate X. You know what I mean? But Jordan is in it.
Yeah.
That's the only other thing.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I could like. What else can you possibly think of?
I mean, I think too another way to kind of incorporate the show and make it a little bit more fun, like, would be possibly to bring back Open Fight Night a little bit. I think that would be kind of interesting because we kind of delved into it way back when, and we kind of like just let it drop.
It's a weird thing. Kind of a weird thing to do. I could see it being hard to do, or they don't have enough people. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And then could bring people like Swinger back just because they think, oh, we need someone for Open Fight Night. Let's do this. So yeah, I don't know. And we gotta get out of here before we hit the 45-minute mark, because that's when I start fucking up my recordings. And we will see you all next week. Go to have something else.
We will be talking a little bit about the Philly tapings on Monday.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, that'll be cool. Yeah. Also, I haven't done a quickie in a while because I don't know, there really hasn't been anything or like good timing. Where pretty much nothing has been happening like outside of like no news or anything other than like today would have been good. Like today would have been a good one if we weren't doing this. Then I would have recorded. But yeah. So I'll get back to
fair,
those.
you've been kind of Mr. Pacifier for like what was it, almost nearly a couple weeks.
Yeah, I was away and also kind of lost all of my money gambling, so that wasn't too cool. As I was doing something nice, so that like made it hurt even more. Whatever. Whatever. My money isn't any of your problems unless you'd like to donate. Then just hit that donate button if there is one anywhere. I don't know. Okay, we'll see you guys next week.
Catch you next week.